Now please invite on stage Mr. Asad Hamid Khan, head of ACCA Pakistan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight. आज जिस तरह आपने my colleagues डॉक्टर ज़ैनब शाह मोहम्मद खान उन्होंने ऑलरेडी शेयर किया कि आज का पर्पस क्या है हम सब के इकट्ठे होने का सो अगर हम आज की कॉन्फ्रेंस की थीम को देखें तो वो है रीथिंकिंग अ बेटर वर्ल्ड सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ फॉर पाकिस्तान यानी एक पायदार तरक्की और ये थीम हम क्यों लेकर आ रहे हैं इस थीम को लाने का बेसिक पर्पस पाकिस्तान में अपनी यूथ अपने रिसोर्सेज अपने चैलेंजेस और इन सब को सामने रखते हुए इन अपॉर्चुनिटीज को सामने फोकस किया जाए और आज हमारी कोशिश ये होगी कि आज की कॉन्वर्सेशन में ACCA is able to create this platform where each one of us is able to feel positive, bring out positivity and optimism, and once we leave this room, we have the takeaway and the confidence that with all the highs and lows, with all the booms and busts, with all the uncertainty that we are facing at the moment, we have what it takes in terms of resources and resilience to take us forward. ACCA, the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, started way back in 1904. So 1904 में जब ACCA इकट्ठी हुई तो ये बेसिकली ये 8 मेंबर्स थे जिन्होंने कहा कि अकाउंटिंग का जो प्रोफेशन है वो दुनिया में उस वक्त खास तबके के लिए होता था which was for the elite. And these 8 individuals said that we will create an association, a group, an opportunity for professional accountants with anybody with ability and ambition is able to participate and become a professional accountant. The ACCA has the privilege that in 1913 or I think it was 1909, we developed the first professional accounting women globally. So that's a big achievement. वो वक्त जिस टाइम पे यूरोप में यूके में voting rights were not allowed to women. But all said that, and why am I bringing this? अभी हमने अपना national anthem सुना और हमने देखा कि irrespective of what our social views are, intellectual views are, whatever our political views may be, whatever may our economic direction may be, but there is a force that binds us together, and that force is a common purpose like the national anthem. So irrespective, हम खड़े हुए knee-jerk reaction. So it's a common purpose that brings us together. Again, आज की जो conversation है conferences में कि ऐसे हम areas of commonality pick करें जिसमें challenges को सामने accept करते हुए हम उन areas को highlight करें जहाँ पर हम बेहतर कर रहे हैं, जहाँ पर हम बेहतर कर सकते हैं और वो क्या triggers हैं जो कि आपकी economy, आपकी area, अगर मैं specifically मुल्तान की बात करूँ तो उसको contributor बना दे into the overall growth of Pakistan. अभी my colleague mentioned that this particular platform was picked up not just to bring ACCA's views or conversations, it was basically to take your views and voice from this region, from this area, back to the policy makers. Multan, अगर हम बात करें, a very rhetorical introduction, but a very powerful introduction. Madinatul Awliya, the city of saints. But what more than that? Historically, this has been the corridor, what we call of economic prosperity. It used to be the corridor of trade. You had different states, you had different trade routes, but this was the node where there was a very common congregation and you could actually access any part of today's Pakistan with equal convenience. ACCA का पर्पस आज की कॉन्फ्रेंस में आप अगर अपना एजेंडा या थीम देखें तो फोकस इस चीज़ पर है कि वो हमारी नज़र में क्या 4 थीम्स हैं जो कि हमें उन ऑब्जेक्टिव्स तक लेकर जाएं. नंबर 1, द पावर ऑफ डिजिटल दौर है, कनेक्टिविटी का दौर है, ओपन एक्सेस का दौर है, रिमूविंग बैरियर्स का दौर है. So you will see a lot of digital being brought into the conversation. Second theme, the power of ethics. Anything that we do has to be backed by integrity, has to be backed by principles, has to be backed by credibility for it to be meaningful and taken seriously by any stakeholder. थर्ड, अभी हमने कॉन्वर्सेशन में जिक्र किया कि post pandemic, during the pandemic, whatever the world has experienced, but we have had a bigger disruption with the floods coming in. And why the floods are coming in? आज ही हम ऑफिस में एक सेशन था हमारा around the sustainable development goals of the United Nations, and we are pleased to share that ACCA, out of the 17 sustainable development goals, has committed to 9 of the sustainable development goals actually announced and embraced by the United Nations and all its signatories. और उसमें जो सबसे बड़ी अभी पाकिस्तान में sustainability को risk है, not just in 15 years, not just in 20 years, not just in 30 years, but 5 to 10 years horizon, is related to climate action. The change that is being brought by the change in weather patterns, the increase in global warming being experienced more in Pakistan, our dwindling reserves of glaciers, our inability to store water by whatever reason, our inability to improve our productivity. So at the end of the day, anything to do with progress pivots on economy. So the most important matter of any nation's security rests and pivots on economic security. So इन सारी चीजों को सामने रखते हुए so आपके पास हो गया power of digital, power of ethics, then you have sustainability, which is उसको मीनिंगफुल फॉर्म में लाने के लिए कॉन्सेप्ट आया है environment, social and governance, ESG. You will hear that in the 15-20 years, anybody who is in this room, please make sure that you are familiar with this environment, social and governance concept. It is going to be the biggest opportunity in terms of giving back to the society, as well as probably specializing and creating skills for yourself. Last but not the least, हमने अपनी youth की बात की, so you have a population of 220 million formally, maybe definitely higher than that. Out of this 220 million, 64% are below the ages of 30. And within this 64%, 60% are between the ages of 18 and 30. So जो आपका talent है, जो आपका youth है, हम उसको कैसे convert करते हैं एक ऐसे asset में जो कि इस तरह की skills develop करे कि जो ना सिर्फ आज के दौर में ना सिर्फ पाकिस्तान के लिए बल्कि पाकिस्तान से बाहर और फ्यूचर के लिए रेलेवेंट हो। मैं इस चीज पे क्लोज करूंगा कि अपनी इकोनॉमी को समझते हुए, मुल्तान की प्रॉक्सिमिटी को समझते हुए, हाईली लिटरेट community, whether we talk about Multan, adjoining areas or South Punjab as a whole, an extremely rich history, फैंटास्टिक आई वुड से, और इस चीज पे क्लैप बनती है कि विमेन पार्टिसिपेशन, जो आपकी विमेन चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्स है, कितनी प्रोएक्टिवली ऑपरेट करते हैं, थोड़ा सा जानदार है ताकि हम एक्चुअली अप्रिशिएट करें। तो विमेन पार्टिसिपेशन, द यूथ एंड द डिजिटल इनेबलमेंट। सो हमने आपसे कुछ साल पहले भी वी विल हैव आवर वेरियस चीफ गेस्ट्स एज वेल, सो वी हैव क्रिएटेड दिस, rather planted this thought that if Pakistan is to be the next digital hub simply because of our population and our youth that can enable the global transformation, so why can't Multan be one of the destinations within Pakistan because of its youth, because of its women participation, because of its proximity? आपके पास very rare thing, you have an airport as well. So everything that is needed to become a center of trade for services. एक myth है कि हम exports नहीं बढ़ा पा रहे, remittances पे dependency है, international borrowing पे dependency है, by whatever means हम euro bonds issue करें, debt जो है वो request करें, या हम Russian digital account, which is a fantastic initiative by the central bank, but at the end of the day this bit has to be repaid. So my request would be कि आप सारी community यहाँ पर मिलकर अपने यूथ को एम्पावर करें, शेयर सर्विसेज, preferred destination for outsourcing, utilize your airport for international flights and become a self-sustaining community which contributes to Pakistan through its unique heritage and the unique positioning in terms of being at the center in terms of its positioning और historically मैं तो हर एक को ये कहता हूँ कि South Punjab, Multan, Bahawalpur, all these areas, they for me are the corridors to Pakistan's economic prosperity. So I would close over there and congratulate all of you once again for empowering us and our partners who made it possible कि हम आपके सामने खड़े हैं. So आपकी हम सारे views आज लेना चाहेंगे और the show must not end today. Event खत्म हुआ. So the takeaways that we have from today अपने अपने areas, अपने अपने segments, चाहे आप education से हैं, चाहे आप business से हैं, chamber से हैं, tax bar से हैं, lawyer हैं, you are running one of fantastic universities. So अपने अपने domains में if we can really contribute to ourselves. So once again, thank you much and Assalamu alaikum. Enjoy yourselves.
Thank you, sir, for that comprehensive overview. Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker for tonight's session is a female force to reckon with, an academician par excellence with an extensive teaching experience of over 15 years, whereby she has taught in multiple renowned universities, both locally and internationally, an expert in research for corporate finance, banking, managing financial institutions, investments, multinational finance, and financial management. For the past 5 years, she has been part of the transnational educational arena, and she has immensely contributed to TNA qualifications, provisions, and developing departments in Pakistan. These are just some of her many achievements. Please join me in welcoming on stage the very graceful Ms. Anat Arshad, Head of Institution TNBC Support.
Thank you for such a lovely welcome, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. On behalf of TMUC and my team, first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank ACCA for organizing such a wonderful event whereby people from all walks of life, different business backgrounds are talking about such an important topic in this day and age, which is sustainable growth in Pakistan. And I see people sitting in this hall who can actually have an impact on the economy of Pakistan. So thank you, Asad Saab, thank you, ACCA, for organizing this event. Now, the topic that I've been given today to speak on is developing core skills of a business professional. We all are aware, considering the troubles we are facing today because of political instability, because of climate change, because of supply chain disruptions, because of various other issues, and the list goes on and on. It is becoming very difficult for business professionals to understand the concept of sustainability, and it is again a challenge that you do realize that we are facing these issues. Hence, business professionals like you and us, we are unable to convince key stakeholders on the risks and opportunities that are brought about by these calamities. Now, why? Why is that? What is the particular reason? The reason is that as business professionals, we lack the core skills to tackle issues like sustainability. Unfortunately, in Pakistan, this is a new concept. So we do see that this agenda is rising in the corporate agenda. All right. So the question should be that such skills can be actually attained during one's scholastic years, or we can actually adapt them once we enter into the professional world. Now, skill is a learning, and people, let me tell you, learning is not a destination, it is a journey. You can always learn skills along your growth patterns, along your life. Learning should never stop. जहाँ आपने सीखना रोक लिया, आपकी रुक मत गई. ठीक है? So as we move on, we as academicians, it is very important. It is our core responsibility to inculcate and teach our students the skills that are required to face issues, and in order to help them adapt to professional practices in sustainable businesses. So the first skill, in my opinion, that we need to learn are core skills. Now, let's do a little survey here. How many of you in your entire life have actually tried to create a balance between learning technical skills and soft skills? And people please, soft skills का मतलब सिर्फ अच्छी communication या people skills नहीं है. उसमें digital literacy भी है, उसमें problem solving techniques भी हैं, उसमें public speaking भी है, उसमें creative writing भी है. So मुझे ये बताएं कि पूरी जिंदगी में आपने अपनी डिग्री लेने के अलावा कितनी मेहनत की है सॉफ्ट स्किल्स सीखने में? Do you think that डॉक्टर ने मेडिसिन सीख ली, इंजीनियर ने इंजीनियरिंग सीख ली, लेकिन सॉफ्ट स्किल्स पे हमने कभी फोकस नहीं किया? यही एक बहुत बड़ी वजह है कि हमारे स्टूडेंट्स, स्पेशली जो जेन ज़ी है, जो अब आगे के दायरे में आएगी, they are not able to face issues like sustainability. So the first thing you need to help your employees learn or your students learn is how to develop your core skills. A core skills is like an art. अगर आप लोग पियानो बजाना सीख सकते हैं, क्योंकि कई लोग कहते हैं कि अब उम्र हो गई, अब नहीं हम सीख सकते, आई एम एन इंट्रोवर्ट, मेरे से पब्लिक स्पीकिंग नहीं होती. हर बंदा सीख सकता है, सिर्फ मेहनत चाहिए, राइट? सो जिस तरह आप पियानो बजाना सीख सकते हैं, जिस तरह आप गाड़ी चलाना सीख सकते हैं, इस तरह you can also develop your core skills. That is very important. Second skill, which I believe is most important, is learn how to innovate, to accelerate. People, we are moving into a time when everything will be changing. You will not be used to what you are used to getting. It's an ever-changing business environment, right? So until and unless you will not innovate yourself, you will not stay relevant, you will be a failure. So it's very important कि जैसे जैसे तब्दीली आ रही है, because only one thing is constant and that is change. So you need to actually learn how to adapt change. कोई rocket science नहीं है, कुछ आसमान नहीं टूट पड़ेगा. सिर्फ आपने अपना जहन थोड़ा सा खोलना है and you need to accept the change. ये change नहीं accept किया तभी से calamities आ रही हैं यहाँ पे. So that is very important. Last but not the least, you need to learn to utilize the superpower of empathy. People, while there isn't always a need to walk a mile in another person's shoes, it is important that you understand where the employees in your companies are coming from. They come from different backgrounds, they come from different ethnicities, so you can't just disregard them and say, "Jo main keh raha hu wo theek hai." You need to learn how to empathize with them. And not only the employees, you need to empathize with the nature. Why? Because nature and your workforce have to coexist in order to get sustainable solutions. Until you do not understand the both, let me tell you people, you will never be able to get sustainable solutions. In the end, I leave you with small food of thought. When we destroy something made by humans, we call it vandalism. But when we destroy something made by nature, we call it progress. Are we actually aiming for that kind of progress? Please think about it. Thank you so much.
May I please request Mr. Haroon and John to come on the stage and present a small token of appreciation to Madam Anam for joining us today. Thank you so much for that comprehensive and very, very informative session, Madam. A huge round of applause for our guests who has traveled so far to join us today. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel deeply honored to introduce the next guest for tonight. Commissioned in Pakistan Army in the 55th PMA Long Course, awarded with the Sword of Honor. During his glorious service of 37 years, he served at some of the most significant command and staff appointments, which include Commander Armored Brigade, GOC 1st Armored Division, GOC Infantry Division, IGFC KPK, Commander 1 Corps and Central Command. There is also great honor in mentioning here that his meaningful participation in Gulf War in 1991 made Pakistan extremely proud. And not just that, he also represented Pakistan during War on Terror at CENTCOM USA. He retired with full honor, and after his retirement, he was appointed as CEO and MD of Forty Fertilizer Company. He's also serving as directorship on the boards of a number of renowned organizations like Asprey Bank Limited, Forty Fertilizer in Kassim, Forty Food Limited, Forty Meat Limited, FFBL Foods Limited, FFBL Power Company, Philip Morris, and Third Energy. Please join me in graciously welcoming the founding Vice Chancellor, Lieutenant General Tariq Khan, Hilal Imtiaz Military.
Thank you for a very generous introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, students, young people sitting here, Assalamu alaikum, good evening. I am here amongst a community which deals with accounts and accounting. I would recommend for those who haven't, they must have a look at a book which is written or an article written by Chris Hooper, How Accountants Can Change the World. And it's serious stuff because it's about controlling assets, going through the digital capacities of how to employ these, telling your clients how to employ those assets and how to get the best return. But I'll let you do it yourself. Anyway, I am now pretty ancient and seen a lot, and I've become a little cynical. So I might take you out of your comfort zone. Now, when we're going to be discussing this, and maybe give you food for thought what to do with this world. Like I mentioned in Faisal too, when I looked at the title of this talk, Rethinking Our World and Sustainable Growth of Pakistan, I am constrained to repeat it here. I was perplexed, I was confused, and I was overwhelmed. Because we are all witness and standing witness to the trials that the country is going through in almost every single field, whether it's the climate, whether it is food, whether it's the population, anything, anybody. So when you look at it from that angle, it becomes extremely difficult to talk about growth in a country which is suffering the consequences of whatever it is going through. What growth are we talking about? What is sustainable growth? If I look at it from the most smallest factor, from the accounting language, it is the rate at which a company grows without triggering financial leverage. Financial leverage translates into equity and debt. When I look at it at a larger scale, I'm talking about social responsibilities and people who have to live in this world using the resources without endangering and compromising the needs of future generations. Both of these, if you look at, you can grow them up to the national level. And if you do grow them up at the national level, it requires governance, it requires stability, it requires politics, it requires a system through which law enforcement, implementation of regulations, etc. is there. If none of these exist, then how do we go about doing all this sustainable growth? How do we go about it? In this sustainable growth, only what your CSR programs are, 2% of your revenue, to help you with the tax rate. Or is it something more than that? The 17 points of the United Nations. If you look at all this in governance, let's first look at what perspective, informed perspective, as to where Pakistan stands today. Pakistan today is 129th out of 165 in sustainable growth. in the world ranking. It is 140 out of 180 countries in corruption. It is 129 out of 139 in judicial. And I am only giving you some of the major facts. There are a lot of other numbers I can give you. And if this is the standard of governance we will have, and we're not having a political discussion here, please don't mistake it for that. I'm talking about it across the board. If this is the standard of governance that you will have, and you still insist that there is going to be sustainable growth in this country, then let me reword it. Sustainable growth despite the government. Because the government cannot be part of it, not under this environment. So, how do we look at the sustainable growth? I have looked at it from two angles. One from the immediate angle, and then one at a global angle. If within this environment, the one that I explained to you, we still want to grow, then what's our greatest liability today? Our greatest liability, if you want to call it a liability, though it can be an opportunity, is a population. 220 million people, maybe 230 people, we don't even know our own proportion. And this is growing at 2% annually, the fastest growth in the world. Will be 380 million by the year 2050. These people are going to breathe air, they need oxygen, they will need food, they want water. How are we going to produce all this? Nevertheless, we will discuss this a little later. But if you want to make this liability an asset, then this country needs to harness this population. Harness it in the sense by having polytechnic institutes all over the country. Start training these people. Look what your unskilled labor does. It gives you 9% of your GDP. $31.5 billion a year comes in from the unskilled labor. This is your largest input in your GDP by. This is the case, and if you can take this population and put it through polytechnics, and have these polytechnics certified and accredited by international affiliations in Europe and UK, by affiliating with those guilds, we will have skilled labor going all over the world. You'll be able to, increase your intermittences by 200%, 400%. So I think this can also become an asset. So other than controlling the population, which is obviously something we need to do permanently, we need to articulate ways and means of establishing polytechnics and doing it with an affiliation. We come to the next point, which I think for sustainable growth is most important, is education. And today, if you want to do sustainable growth in the world, we're talking about artificial intelligence, robotics, disruptive sciences, and things, digitalization, etc. We can't do it in the education system and curriculum that we have. Please understand, it's not a question of being nationally boastful, but there are 6 universal languages. And those universal languages became universal because the people who speak those languages mastered the art of science, medical sciences, engineering, and we didn't. So now if we want to become something, we need to first master those sciences, then maybe we can develop 7 universal languages. But right now, we have to bring our generation into international standards. We are still struggling here with curriculums. These standards exist. We just need to implement them. But we are politicizing it. This is another place we can focus. Agriculture. Rural life. so that people are proud of living in the rural areas and are happy living in the rural areas. We will put more cash in the pocket of the farmer. So these are some of the things which are no-brainers. We need to do certain things which I am going to now tell you and maybe in the that wasn't me, but my don't tax it, all right. Transaction. Everyone. And you know what happened? Your informal economy, which is 50%, 57, $180 billion a year. This will come into your mainstream. You'll be able to tap that. You'll be able to get revenue from it. You'll be able to have investments from it. And if you do this, people will say, how do you pay back the debt? Let me show you. If you can get